Do we want to leave it where it's the person speaking? Or do we want to change it to have everybody on the screen at once?
No, leave it to the way the person's
Okay.
speaking. It's easier for editing the clips.
Perfect.
When we do, the verticals using Opus Clip.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard for the AI to really get the blocks up, especially 3. And
Well,
then
we certainly don't
through.
want to make it hard on the AI.
Right. We don't want to upset the computers.
No, don't upset the
No,
computer.
it'll come right back at you.
Exactly. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sounds of Health. I'm your host, Dave MacNiven, and I'm thrilled to welcome our guests today, Traci O'Brien and Christine Brown, the co-founders of Senior Promises, where you are never too old for a wish to come true. If you're here for Traci and Christine, please be sure to take some time to like, subscribe, and share Sounds of Health, where every week we uncover inspiring stories, highlight incredible people like Traci and Christine, and share valuable resources to help you boost your physical, emotional, and financial well-being. Ladies, welcome to Sounds of Health.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for getting up this morning and getting set to have an early podcast. This you pushed us into the earliest time we've ever done, so I appreciate that.
Awesome.
And, it's not really that early considering, but so
It's not 6 a.m.
no, it's not 6 a.m.
It's all about perspective.
That's right. Exactly. It's been a very busy week, and I know both of you are very busy, so I appreciate you taking the time to get on here and tell our audience a little bit about Senior Promises. But before we kind of get into that and the work that you're doing there, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves and, what your background is and what brought you to what you're doing today?
Sure.
Great thing. Go ahead.
All right. So I own an insurance agency here in Connecticut, and we specialize in Medicare plans. We do everything else, but Medicare is our primary focus. And I've been doing that since 2010, but it was really in 2014, 2015 when the carriers launched their dual special needs plans. Excuse me, where I was, thrown into this community of people who are on both Medicare and Medicaid. And I was identifying people who, we would figure out, their insurance and different programs from the states, and then their TV would break, and there was a gentleman who needed special shoes because he had cerebral palsy, and the insurance company wouldn't pay for the shoes because he wasn't diabetic. So these things, and I was like, I'm being pretty successful in my career. I'm going to help these people. And it just, it wasn't sustainable for me to buy TVs and orthopedic shoes for people.
Right.
So in our annual tradition, Christine and I, we've been friends since our daughters were in third grade. They're in their 20s now. Christmas Eve, we went for our holiday cocktails, and I started talking about, wanting to start a nonprofit to be able to fund these, little projects for people. And she blurted out, when my mom passed away, she left some money to, fund a nonprofit or start a foundation. And, we've been friends all these years, never had this conversation. And Senior Promises was born.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's why things steeped in tradition always seem to work out best. So that
100%.
100%. And that was 2019
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
occurred. So, we just to give you a little bit about my background, I also work in insurance, but I work on the property casualty side of the house. I am a claims person by nature. So although our paths are both insurance, we complete the full spectrum of insurance, so to speak. Although that was not our common bond, 2019 rolled around, and it's Christmas, we're having our cocktail, and then, as everybody knows, what happened in 2020, we were still able to push through, and like all the stars aligned, truly, and we were literally able to launch on Senior Citizen Day in 2020 at the Milford Oyster Fest. So, to start from a nonprofit, from an idea, in December of 2019 to 8 months later, full on launch, was amazing.
Yeah, that's really incredible. I remember when Tracy first told me about the idea because we have this whole network of insurance advisors that work in the Medicare space. We all work together, and Tracy, when you and I were first starting out and we were working with those dual special needs populations, that was the one thing that always struck me too, was there was just so many other things that people needed help with, beyond what we were doing with the insurance. And I thought, wow, this is such a great idea. Are you crazy to start another thing?
What's
So
one more thing?
yeah, right, exactly. Because everything, anytime I hear an idea from you, I'm like, oh, she's going to make it happen. So I've been really happy to be a part of this organization from the start as well on the board, and hopefully, helping you guys to grow what Senior Promises is doing. How did the two of you first meet? Was it through your daughters?
Yeah, we were the the working moms who, slid into the after school program at 5:59. And, we just always seemed to be the last ones picking up our kids. And that's how, they were in third grade together. They were in class together. They were friends. So it just seemed natural that we should be friends. And the crazy part is now we actually live walking distance from each other.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. That wasn't the
Mhm.
case then when you first met?
Nope,
Yeah.
we lived in the same town at the time, but I moved one town over and then a couple years ago moved back. And it was just a coincidence that the house that we loved was around the corner. So now we can meet in the middle and go for walks.
Go for walks.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Now, did both of you find your path to insurance in early on in life, or were there other things that you were thinking of doing before that?
So I went to college for early childhood education. And after college, I moved back home. And after about 6 weeks, my dad's like, this is just not working for me. So he was a risk manager at a company and called his carrier and said, I need you to get my daughter a job. I was 21. I got stuck at an insurance carrier doing claims, and I've never made it out since.
Wow,
But I mean, what I do now, I absolutely adore, and I wouldn't change anything.
that's so
Yeah,
cool.
I always say, you don't find the insurance industry finds you.
I agree.
Yeah.
No one's 5 years old, and I always say I was having Barbie sell life insurance to Ken. That didn't happen. But yeah, I've been in it. January will be 20 years. And, I'm so blessed to be able to work with, so many people that I've met in my travels throughout the years. One of our agents is the person who took me on ride-alongs when I was first licensed. But it's just, we get the opportunity, from my perspective, to help so many Medicare beneficiaries. And now I get to help agents. So, I'm just helping more people by extension.
Absolutely. That's the thing I love most about this business is you're helping so many people. And when you go beyond just the client and then, starting an agency and working with people to build their own book of business and their own, it's so much fun to sit down with somebody and talk about what do you see? What do you want your goals to be for your life? And then help them to get there. And you guys have done such a great job with that. I mean, you have so many agents who have been truly successful in this industry. So well done there.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a wild ride. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, serious, not me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
So to be able to, pay it forward with senior promises and granting wishes to underprivileged senior citizens, it's just, and, I've got these great agents in my Medicare space, but then I have these, just this just amazing board for senior promises. So we get to surround ourselves with some amazing people and help so many people that are deserving.
yeah. That's awesome. Tell me a little bit more about Senior Promises. So, how exactly does it operate, and who could qualify for a wish?
So 65 and over, the numbers, that's more of a, those are set by the state or the federal government every year about, the monetary qualifications. But really, you have to be ready and willing to be able to receive a wish. Um, you can go to our website, You can email us, you can call us. We are happy to take wish applications any way you want to get them to us. You do not necessarily need to be the wish recipient. You can actually nominate somebody for a wish. So if you have a friend, a neighbor, a relative that you think would be grateful or in need of something, you can actually nominate them. We take a look at every wish that comes in. We do have about a $500 cap per wish. Anything over that, we need to discuss as a board, but we really want to try to grant as many wishes as possible. So that's kind of why we have a little bit of a dollar cap on it. We have granted so many wishes over the years. And like I said, we've started in 2020. We're now almost 5 years into this. The wishes vary from air conditioners to televisions to pots and pans to cowboy boots
Yep.
to airplane tickets to, oh my gosh, Tracy, what else have we done?
The rounds
Wheelchair
of golf.
vans, rounds of golf, so it's whatever people can sort of dream up, or find that their neighbor, friend, relative needs. We will take a look at and discuss.
Mhm. And we've done a couple of really cool community projects as well. So I know we did a TV for a community room for senior housing. We also helped Housing Authority with a community garden, which is just when we first started Senior Wishes, I was like, this is what I want to be able to do. So, now we're helping feed a community.
Yeah,
So that was really one of my favorite wishes that we granted. And the
That's
cowboy
amazing.
boots, that was awesome.
Cowboy boots was
and
fun.
the cowboy
Yeah.
boots. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
a lot of fun. And so these are really things that, they have an impact on a person's life because they're bringing them a little bit of joy and maybe giving them something that they've always wanted or something that they need. How
They can't afford. Yeah.
something they can't afford themselves. How many of the wishes that we're seeing come through are people nominating others?
So one of the really great things about this is they're resident advisors in these, we tend to get a lot of wishes from the senior housing community. And their resident advisors recognize that their residents have a need. And one of the really great things about this is that, a lot of people have pride and they don't want to ask for help. And so the resident advisors are contacting us saying, hey, I have somebody in my community. I really think that they could use this. And they're just too proud to ask for it. So then it magically appears for them. And those are the stories that are really, really heartwarming. In the very beginning, Tracy and I would deliver the wishes personally. We would go in with our masks on, and just to see the actual joy on these people's faces, like, I cannot believe that I don't have to do anything for this. This is completely a gift gratis. We're not expecting anything back. This is really just to enhance your life. It was probably one of the most fulfilling things that I have ever done.
Mhm. Yeah, I say, they're not people's dying wishes. They're people's living wishes. So something to make their living situation today more comfortable. And you were talking, Christine, it reminded me of that one where the woman had the wish for the iPad. And then an
Yeah,
iPad like magically appeared for her. We have no idea where it came from. It
yeah.
wasn't
It wasn't
us.
us.
It
Wasn't
wasn't
us.
us, but
No.
as it turns out, her neighbor needed one. So she was able to gift her neighbor with the iPad that we had
Oh,
set
wow.
aside for her.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So now our recipients are paying it forward.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Where do you see the organization going? What would you guys like to do? Where would you like to get to?
So we need volunteers. So it's really, it's a completely volunteer board.
Hmm.
Everything that we do is our own free time. And, Christine is the treasurer, so she deals with the money piece and all that kind of stuff and getting, tax-free things. So, but, it's really been Christine and I granting most of the wishes in person. So we really need magic genies to help grant wishes. And I think we're due for a board meeting too. So looking for board members as well. Just because, we need to do more fundraising so that we can grant more wishes.
Yep, absolutely.
But also, I think we need to spread more awareness. The resident advisors of the senior housing communities know who we are, but that's only one small portion of the senior citizen community in our state that we could be helping. So also just to spread awareness that we are out here, we want to help, we want to be there. That would be the other ask that I would have if I could place an ask.
Yeah, and the limits are pretty high for what people can qualify for. It's an honor system, but if people typically qualify for the Medicare Savings Program from the state, they're within the income parameters for applying for a wish.
Right. So we're talking about over the age of 65, living in Connecticut, and then within those parameters for the Connecticut Medicare Savings Program.
Correct.
Excellent. So yeah, people can actually go to seniorpromises.org, and all of this information is there. So you can see, who would actually be able to get a wish and what the process is like. We definitely are looking to raise support. So looking for people who want to get involved and volunteers. That's definitely important. Do you guys have any events or things coming up?
We do. We have a really exciting event. I'm thrilled that they picked Senior Promises as their nonprofit to raise money for and awareness. So NABIP, the National Association of Benefits and Insurance Professionals, is a professional organization that I'm involved with on the insurance side. And they have a fun and frivolity event every other month. And, this month it's going to be in Orange, in our town, Orange Ale House. Thank you, Jim, for hosting us. And it's free, but if you come with a donation, then you'll get a couple free drink tickets. So cool way to schmooze with Connecticut's finest benefits and insurance professionals, learn about, senior promises, and, just come out and have a general good time. And it's something where, people are interested, get in touch and we can send a link. There is a little registration link, and we would love to talk more about senior promises.
Absolutely.
That's excellent. We'll definitely put that information in the show notes here too, to try and link people over to it. What day did you say that was?
Oh, it's the 24th. And you think I would have looked up the time?
Yeah, it's 4:30. It's like 4:30 to 6:30.
All
Yep.
right. So June 24th, 4:30 to 6:30 at the Orange Ale House in Orange, Connecticut. Come out and meet really great people in the insurance industry and support Senior Promises. It's a win-win for everyone.
Yep. You can talk about health insurance, life insurance, property and casualty insurance, get all your insurance questions
All your
answered
insurance
too.
needs. That's right.
That's right. Some of the
Yeah.
best people around. That's awesome. So that I think with everything both of you are doing, I think it's just really amazing that you have the time to devote to an organization like this, and really appreciate you doing something like this that really enhances the community and serves our older population. What has been the biggest challenge for you in starting this organization?
Time.
Yeah.
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 And we would love to devote more time to it, honestly. But that's where the volunteers come in, right? Like to really hit this and make an impact. We need more volunteer help.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll encourage people definitely who are listening to our show, if you have any interest in helping Senior Promises and getting involved, please reach out, go to seniorpromises.org to learn more, and you'll be able to talk to Traci or Christine about how you can get involved.
Yeah, we would love, a wish coordinator, so someone who reviews all the wishes. And sorry, dog is talking back to us. And then certainly once we approve wishes, to deliver them.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So this has been really great, and we appreciate you taking the time to tell us all about Senior Promises. Usually we ask our guests toward the end of the podcast to leave our audience with a health hack. So for both of you, something that you do in your own life that helps you to increase your physical, emotional, or financial well-being. Is there something you'd like to share?
Well, like I said, we're able to meet in the middle now and go for walks.
Yeah.
But this year has been like my year of health. So, two of the biggest things that I'm doing this year is focusing on drinking a ton of water, so hydration, and that means cutting out my favorite drink, wine, and then slowing down and chewing food longer. So that's been something that's been being talked about a lot right now, and just slowing down and eating your food.
Nice.
So
So kind of
that's my
mindful
hack for this
eating.
year. Mindful eating, you're not on your phone,
Yeah.
you're not in front of the TV, you're focusing on the food, you're chewing it a whole bunch, and paying attention to what you're doing.
Have you noticed that that makes a difference for you?
Um, I slowly but surely, there's definitely differences. I'm sure it's the combination of everything. So we'll just keep trucking along.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. How about you, Christine?
So I have two that I'm working on this year. Number one is increasing my protein at every meal. I find it like if I start my morning off with a bagel, I'm hungry like an hour later. So I'm really trying to focus on like I'll do like a cottage cheese with blueberries, and then I'll add flavorless protein to it, right? And it keeps me fuller longer. And I feel better. Like I don't feel as loggy or foggy or whatever that, both of
Yeah.
those actually.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I found that I was doing, and it was mindless eating. So I really made an effort to sit at my dining room table and eat my meals and not snack. Like I'm one of those like I constant snacker. Like if you give me a bag of chips, I will eat the whole thing and not even realize it. So I really making an effort to sit at my table, eat my meal only, and then that's it. If I stick a bag of M&Ms on my desk, that whole thing is gone and I don't even realize I've eaten the whole thing. So it's just really
Yeah.
being conscious of really like how I'm eating.
Yeah, I think that's important. And it sounds like the two of you make a good team working on very similar similar goals.
Yep.
Cottage cheese and blueberries is one of my favorite breakfasts, by the way. But what is the flavorless protein you're adding to it?
It's not to plug them, but Vital Proteins. It's a
The
collagen.
collagen.
It's a
Okay.
collagen, but
Yeah.
it's flavorless, but it's also for 2 tablespoons, it's an extra like 12 grams of protein.
Oh,
So
wow.
on top of your cottage cheese, so if you do half a cup of cottage cheese, that's 30 grams of protein right there for breakfast.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a really good
Yeah.
way to start the day. I do the cottage cheese and blueberries, and nobody in my house likes it. So it's all mine.
Dave? Yeah.
Mindless
Yep.
eating is one of my favorite pastimes. I
I
would have a
know.
big problem with that. I watch movies constantly, nothing
Yeah.
but movies. So mindless
Yeah.
eating popcorn specifically, I would have a huge challenge with that.
Yeah, well, that's the tough part, right? I feel like we were all raised to have snacks while we're watching TV. And so
Yes.
it is mindless. You're not even thinking about what you're putting into your body at that point. And so
No.
reminding yourself to take your time. I'm just known for eating really quickly with meals. So slowing down is something that I really do need to focus on.
Yeah, and there's a whole school of thought about like mindless eating with eating places, eating situations. So, like Christine says, if she sits down at her computer, she's just might not even be hungry, but it's just this habit that she's created.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
oh, I think I need to eat right now. Same thing with sitting down in front of the TV at night. Oh, it's snack time. So you just, start thinking about these things as, it's time for a snack.
Right.
So changing that up and being mindful is a good way to at least reduce the risk.
Absolutely. Baby steps. Take one thing at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for sharing those. I think those are good for our audience to hear. And thank you both for taking the time to be with us this morning and to talk about Senior Promises. I really think that this is an organization that you guys started with just a really great idea and a real big heart behind it. And I think more people need to know about it. And I know that there's a lot that you're going to do with it. So thank you for doing that. And if anyone out there is listening and they want to learn more about Senior Promises, please go to seniorpromises.org and attend that event, that NABIP event next week. It's going to be June 24th, 4:30 to 6:30 at the Orange Ale House. And of course, we'll link to all of this in the show notes below. So feel free to reach out to Senior Promises to learn more. And to
Thank
both
you
of you
for having us on to spread the word.
Yeah, hopefully this will get the word out there and reach more people. All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both. So that's a wrap on another episode of Sounds of Health. Thank you all for listening. As always, I'm your host, Dave MacNiven, and Sounds of Health is produced by Jason Carubia with music by Rob Hames. Every week, we bring you stories that inspire, empower, and help you to upgrade your health. If you enjoy the show, please take time to like, subscribe, leave a review. We love hearing from our listeners, and we hope that you'll continue on as an important part of our wellness community. See you next time.